Good evening. Welcome to the John Gaunt podcast. Let's be clear. Keir Starmer is a chicken. Keir Starmer is a coward. Keir Starmer has fled Britain to go to Egypt to be with Donald Trump and his bromance mate, Macron, when he should be here dealing with serious questions like 500,000 idiots supporting terrorists yesterday on the streets of London, the Jewish community under siege, and perhaps also he could now talk to us about Mandelson. But I tell you, he's on a chicken run. And in this podcast, I'll explain exactly what I mean by that. Thanks for joining me. It's an extra show, of course. If you've got an opinion, just write a comment in the bottom of the box and I will read them out and it will all fuel the debate. So let me just remind you what I'm actually saying. This is my hypothesis tonight. It's a big word, Gaunty. Keir Starmer is a coward. He's a chicken. He's not a leader. Instead of staying here in Britain and the United Kingdom to face the very real problems, as one of my listeners has just said on Twitter, that he actually caused, whether it's the violent protests, whether it's the anti-Semitic chanting yesterday, whether it's the murder, the brutal, cold-blooded murder of 2 people in Manchester, whether it's these Chinese spying allegations, which I'll talk about in this show as well, or whether even it's still Lord Mandelson, which he's not given us a satisfactory answer to, because he's been in hiding for the past 2 or 3 weeks. He's only emerged from his bunker to do another photo call to make him look good on the world stage. That's why he's gone to Egypt, and he's run there to pose with Donald Trump's peace signing. Well, I hope that when he gets there, Donald Trump, one of his men, J.D. Vance, says, sorry, like a bouncer at my old nightclub, your name's not on the list. Now, F off. Because Starmer, don't forget, he had nothing to do with this deal, which, by the way, is great, isn't it? Wasn't it great to watch the news this morning and see the people of Gaza going back to try and rebuild their lives, and the Jews and the Israelis, should I say, as well, in Gaza waiting for the hostages to come home. And they're all going to be home by tomorrow morning. This is a triumph for Donald Trump, but not for Starmer, who, as per usual, is trying to jump on the bandwagon, but too late. Too little, too late. Like little Macron, he's trying to get on it as well. And then I saw that idiot, Bridget Phillipson, this morning, the Education Secretary for Labour on the BBC. She said, oh, we've done lots in the background to make this happen. What's that smell? Oh, yeah, it's bullshit. Because don't forget, Starmer, he recognised the Palestinian state as soon as Trump left Blighty last time he was here. Trump is not happy about this, just like he's not happy with the attacks on free speech in our country, and is increasingly unhappy about what's happening with the China spying scandal, which I'll try and explain to you and why it's so important in a few moments. If you've got a comment to make, please write it at the bottom of the chat box and we'll come to you as soon as we can. And if you'd like to donate or support it, press the little $sign and donate whatever you can, please, to keep these podcasts coming. Like I keep saying, there's never been a time for more independent broadcasting and the rest of it and journalism than ever before. You cannot trust the BBC. You cannot trust the mainstream lamestream, but you can at least know, well, that's Gaunty. Do I believe him or not? And we'll have a fair old crack about it, okay? So just press the $sign, or alternatively, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. So Starmer had nothing to do with this deal. He even undermined it, I would say, by recognising Palestine too early. He wanted to virtue signal to those clowns who went on that march yesterday. And of course, they went on a march the day after the evil slaying of Jewish people in Manchester. They marched yesterday, led by Steptoe Jeremy Corbyn, who actually said on stage, "This will never be over." There are people on that march yesterday who are upset that there's peace coming, and they're extraordinarily upset that it's Donald Trump who's pulled it off. They've got Trump derangement syndrome. They would rather this war carried on for another 100 years rather than Trump sort it out. That's why he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, because the uber liberals who try to control you and run the world in some sort of cabal, they don't like Trump because he's messed up their cozy little arrangement. They call it diplomacy. I call it bullshit and corruption and world government. We need strong leaders like Donald Trump. Are you with me again? Now then, the reason why Starmer has gone, even though he's got nothing to do with it, he wants to be with those real world leaders because tomorrow, Monday, he should be in Parliament. He should be explaining himself about the Chinese spying scandal. Have you heard about this? But just like the Mandelson affair, he's going to send somebody else to answer the difficult questions. He still hasn't answered, why on earth did you employ the pedo's best mate, Mandelson, to be our ambassador? Why is he doing it? Because, as Mrs. Thatcher would say, he's frut. He's scared. Frit, even. He's scared. That's why he's christened Never Hear Kira, because all he ever wants to do is be on the world stage. Because you know what he wants? He wants a job with the WEF or the United Nations or the Chocolate Fireguard manufacturers. He wants a non-job and he'll probably end up getting one. But after wrecking our country. Because you've got to ask, why hasn't he faced questions yet on this Chinese spying story? Why hasn't he talked about the hate marches? He just asked them, oh, please, don't march, please. And they basically said, up yours, Keir Starmer, and marched. And then there were banners for Hamas. There were flags. They were chanting from the river to the sea. Even if they're not terrorists themselves, they're supporting terrorism. And imagine what that feels like if you're a Jewish Brit. It's an absolute disgrace, and he's done nothing to stop it. He's got the power to stop it, but what he hasn't got, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, is a spine. So what he's been doing ever since Mandelson, he's been hiding. When he went up to Manchester, he sent Lammy up first. Lammy went up. Lammy got booed, rightly so, in my opinion, by the Jewish community. When Starmer was there with his wife, holding her hand ever so tightly because they were happily married, heterosexual couple, right, for the photo opportunity, he cleared the streets of Manx. He didn't want the public there in case, just like in Southport, someone shouted out, wanker, and he had to run away. That's what happened. He's not a leader. A leader leads from the front. This isn't leadership. It's pure, unadulterated cowardice. He's a chicken. He's running and hiding from Britain's problems. And he's betraying you and I, the British public. The sooner this man goes, the better. Are you with me or against me? They were meant to be the adults back in the room. As far as I can see, they're the bloody sixth formers. Well, no, they wouldn't have got in the sixth form because they're not intelligent enough. They're not well versed in British politics enough or world politics. They're still selling the socialist worker outside Woolies when we're going in there to buy our broken biscuits, in my opinion. Are you with me or against me? Now, let's talk about some of the detail. This Chinese spying story has been going on for a couple of years. And I'm going to tell you the basics of it within a couple of sentences. Two people accused of basically asking questions and finding out answers and then passing that on to the Chinese state. These people, it had gone through the Crown Prosecution Service. They were going to be tried. Somebody today explained it on the telly, saying everyone thought it was a slam dunk. They were going to be found guilty, probably. And so, therefore, it should have gone ahead. All of a sudden, the government decided, along with the CPS, and they're now fighting each other like cat and dog, to drop the allegations against these two people, one of whom worked in Parliament. So there's not going to be a trial. Now, the allegation is the reason it was dropped was because Jonathan Powell, who used to work for Blair and is now working for Starmer as his number one aide next to that other guy who's also mired in nonsense, basically, he said, look, we need a trade deal with China. We cannot undermine that by defining them as the enemy. This is after we had all that nonsense with the mobile phones, the nuclear power stations, and the Chinese influence. So, the trial isn't going to happen. We don't know if these two people were spying for another state. I'll call it what it is, an enemy state. We know what China's up to, don't we? This is pure madness. And it's got worse because now Trump and J.D. Vance are on top of it. And they don't like it because they do see China as the enemy. So they're now suggesting they won't share security concerns or facts with us. So we're no longer going to be the special relationship. And then you wondered, why did we make that decision with the Chagas Isles? Why did we give that back to Mauritius? Who? Oh, hang on a minute. Who are they in bed with? The Chinese. This is a Chinese takeaway on a mega scale. It's not a takeaway. It's a giveaway. We are giving them our territory. Then we're paying them for the privilege. And now two people who look bang to rights as spies, we're no longer putting them on trial. The Crown Prosecution Service says, well, we don't really know why they've dropped it. The accusation is that it's Jonathan Powell, his advisor, who's pushed this. Are they putting trade above our security? Is it so he can brag again, oh, we've got a big trade deal with China? Is this because next week or the week after, Rachel Thieves is going to tax you to death to make up for the cock-ups she made in her budget? This government is not just rudderless, it's driverless. The man who's meant to be the leader is too busy getting photographs taken all around the globe. And that is why, ladies and gents, he's going tomorrow. There is no need for him to go whatsoever, but he's got on that plane. And this thing happens first thing in the morning, 9 o'clock our time. We should get the hostages out. They're going to sign this deal. He's not signing it. Trump's signing it. Trump doesn't need him, probably doesn't even want him there anymore. And you know what? They've not even really said, oh, no, Starmer is evidently going to praise Trump. I bet he is. He must be crapping himself about the reception he's going to get off Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. So he's not going to be here in Parliament to answer questions. Parliament is back tomorrow, the Commons. They will make a statement because the pressure on this Chinese spying story is so massive. This could bring down the government. So somebody is going to get the short straw and have to stand up and try and explain it. But Starmer, the coward, Starmer, the chicken, won't be there. And I don't know about you, I would like Starmer to talk about what we witnessed yesterday. If there truly was 500,000 people marching in London, and don't give me this crap, oh, they weren't all chanting from the river to the sea. A significant amount of them were. It was a demonstration against our great nation, led by people like Jeremy Corbyn. It was an utter disgrace. And if they're going to call out Tommy Robinson for his marches, why hasn't this been called out? And then I thought Starmer was going to put his arms around the Jewish community. What he's done, I'll tell you what he's done. Nice words again, but sweet F.A. And I still want to know, why did we employ the pedo's best chum to be our man in Washington? The whole bloody thing stinks. Are you with me or are you against me? Let's get to some of your comments now. If you want to comment, feel free. Just put them up at the bottom of the chat box and I'll come to you as soon as I can. If you like what I'm doing, if you like my podcast, please press the like button and also tell all your friends about it. The more people we get watching, the bigger it grows. It's as simple as that. I have got some information for you. I know I told you on, was it Thursday? We've now, no, it was Thursday or Friday, 1.5 million views. It's gone up to 1.6. Thank you very, very much indeed. But let's have a cracking show tonight. Where do you want to start with all of this? Please let me know. Craig Urquhart says, Starmer chameleon. Absolutely right, Craig. I just hope he gets his own version of karma. How much longer are we going to let him get away with this? This Chinese story is as scary as hell, Craig. And there he is. He's gone off to have a picture in Egypt to make out he's the great statesman who pulled off this deal. This man betrayed Donald Trump. He recognized Palestine as soon as Trump left. He was playing up to his left-wing, backbench, Palestinian, terrorist-loving backbench MPs who want to represent, like that idiot woman in Coventry. She wants to represent the Fossil Road in Coventry and Gaza. She was another one who says it's not over yet. And they're still talking about genocide. I didn't see that many starving people dancing in the street. They all look quite well fed to me. And the aid's going in now. Of course it's been brutal. Of course it's been horrid. Yes. But if they'd released the hostages, none of this would happen. Your views, please. Afternoon, Gaunty, says Jake Morton Brown. Funny, he is a chicken, as I'm doing a roast chicken over here. You all got to know what Jake's having for his Sunday lunch. And yes, with homemade Yorkies, as a true northerner, never misses an opportunity. Well done, Jake. Thank you for telling us about your dinner. Craig Marson. Hi, John. I totally agree with you. That's good to hear. We could do with a few more of those. I want to say I can't believe Trump didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, says Jake. But ... What does that mean? What does that mean? You don't agree or you do agree? He didn't get it because he's Donald Trump. They couldn't possibly give it to the man who has brought peace. I tell you something, I've got to praise the BBC a little bit. Jeremy Bowen, who's normally as biased as anything, he said today, I guess we've got to hand it to Donald Trump. It's his form of diplomacy that has pulled this off. Then later on, he qualifies himself. He probably thought, oh, God, that's my BBC pension going. Because the BBC have been almost in mourning. I'm surprised they're not wearing black armbands. Because some of and those people on that demo yesterday, from the ability to see these idiots, I think they'd rather the war continue than Donald Trump get any credit for solving the problem. What kind of sick minds are they? And I don't want to be paranoid, but I will be for a minute. Does it not worry you that 500,000 people allegedly, they say more than Tommy's rally, marched on the streets and are in favour of the Palestinians? And many of them, when you actually talk to them, they don't separate Hamas out from the Palestinian Authority. The Palestinian Authority is as corrupt as hell anyway. 14 years without elections. That's why Hamas are in power. And yes, it's dreadful. Those pictures of Gaza, which obviously was beautiful at one point, the beaches, did you see all that today? And the destruction is horrendous. Of course it is. And the loss of human life is horrendous. But it's not going to turn out to be the kind of numbers that the lefties have been saying. Even the BBC today, Laura Kunsberg had to correct the idiot from the Welsh party who said there's been a genocide. And she said, no, it's not been classified as a genocide yet. So even she was having to put the balance in there. Remember how it started 2 years ago? Could have been your kids at Glastonbury. People parachuting in effectively, slaughtering them, raping your daughters, cutting their breasts off, killing babies. And then they moved on and took people from the kibbutz, older people, and held them hostage. Animals That's what Hamas are, and they need to be wiped off the face of the earth. And I tell you this, I'm worried about this. I can't believe that Starmer hasn't come back and is dealing with domestic issues. I can, because he's a coward. But he's gone straight to Egypt to be with Trump rather than dealing with his own backyard. I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. There's going to be another terrorist atrocity. And when it happens, Starmer, it's on you, mate. It's on you. Because you should have clamped down on these marches. It now has to stop this nonsense. Palestine, all of that nonsense, the river to the sea and all the rest of it, and Zara Sultana, whatever her name is, and Jeremy Corbyn, they need to be shut up and shut up permanently. It's a disgrace. There is now peace. What do they want? Do they just want to keep warmongering? Have I got this wrong? If I've got it wrong, please tell me. Drop me a comment now. Also, if you're enjoying what I'm doing, press the like button. They're getting up there now, 25. That's good. But also, if you'd like to donate, you know how to do that. Press that little $sign and just give me whatever you can afford. Thank you. Derek Launder, this is an extra show, don't forget. He says, absolutely true. Well spoken, John. Thank you, Derek, on Facebook. Maggie Young is 10 down the street on an Airbnb. Nobody's living there. They're always abroad. Maggie, you're joking, but you're kind of right, aren't you? He's never in this bloody country. Why is he away again? He's not part of the peace process. If he had negotiated it, do you remember what he did? After Trump left, him and Macron and another couple of European spineless tosspots, they all said, oh, let's recognise Palestine. Yeah, lovely, lovely. Aren't we lovely? We're kind. We're be kind. We're real nice people. Trump was fuming because he's trying to pull off a deal and they're undermining him. But he has pulled it off. And now Starmer wants the credit. So him and his coalition of fucking useless are going to be at this meeting sort of getting a photo op. Oh, it's me, Mum. I'm in Gaza. I'm bringing world peace. I'm at Disney World. Starmer, we have got terrorists on the streets of the UK. Some of them so brave, they actually went on a march, defiled our war memorials, our heroes. That's what they were doing on Saturday. They were chanting from the river to the sea. And don't give me this bullshit about they all weren't. But the very fact you were there, you become part of it. Because they're bragging today. And that idiot with the gap tooth, what's his name? From the Green Party. How come he's suddenly being promoted by the BBC and all the lamestream media as the great hope for the future? Did you see him on Question Time? He's a liar. This guy used to make a living telling ladies, I can make your bust, your boobs, bigger by hypnotizing you. That sounds like the work of a pervert to me. It's obviously ridiculous. And I don't know about working with breasts. He's one big tit, that's for sure. Sorry, couldn't resist it. But it's ludicrous. He's been now touted as the new hope for the left. Gaptooth, you know what I'm talking about. His real name is David. I can't remember the name. Polanski is the name he goes by now because he used to be an actor. Well, the only other Polanski I know, he's a brilliant director, but he was a pervert. I'm not saying this one is, but you understand where I'm coming. Or Roman Polanski. He's a dodgy so-and-so. But this guy is, and now they're making out. And I just couldn't believe. I've looked at Question Time since. I don't watch it live because it's too much of a wind-up. Oh, by the way, everyone has been going on. Saw you on telly, Gaunty. Yeah, I was in the hack. I didn't know I was going to be in it. It was just a little bit of when I was on Question Time. They didn't ask for permission. They didn't pay me any royalties. But if you burped, farted, and broke wind at the same time, you'd have missed me anyway. But yeah, I was on it. Yes, it is me. Yes, thank you. And that was on Question Time. But that was when Question Time was half decent. Now it's just rubbish. Paul Griffiths. The hostages will be returned. Hamas will refuse disarming. Then the Israeli army will recommence hostilities. Well, you're full of good hope, aren't you, Paul? Paul Griffiths on Facebook. I just think they'll get absolutely annihilated if they do that, Paul. They've been given their chance. Now let's work for peace. Ryan H. He won't answer about the spy trial as it could bring him down. A famous barrister has said it's treason and two-tier Keir should face trial. You're right, Brian H. I saw that as well. Lots of legal people are saying that. He will not answer the question. And when he does, he blames it on Labour. Admittedly, it did, not Labour, sorry, the Tories. It did start under the Tories. It did. But I knew right from the beginning this Chagos deal was dodgy. But Starmer, has he stopped the trial of two spies spying allegedly for China because it didn't suit his political agenda? That is treason. You are right. Simon Hatt says it's treason. Starmer needs to resign and face prosecution. Well, I'm not sure he needs to face prosecution yet, but what he needs to do is be heavily questioned. And where that questioning should start, Simon, see if you agree with me, is in Parliament tomorrow. Parliament has been in recess. Hold on. Because of the party political conferences. And I am on the record, check back on the podcast. I said weeks ago, he's not going to answer Mandelson. He didn't go that Wednesday afternoon, or was it Wednesday? Whatever day it was. He didn't go to Parliament when they asked him to come and answer questions on Mandelson. I said he's going to try and tough it out because now Parliament's going into recess on the Thursday, which he did. So he couldn't be questioned. Now this China thing's come up. So the first day back's tomorrow. He should be getting questioned on Mandelson and he should be getting questioned on China. No, he won't do either because he's effed off to Egypt because he's the peace broker. Can you not see what he's doing? Am I the only person who's connecting? No, I'm not, because a lot of my listeners are as well. Connecting up the dots. It's an absolute disgrace. Craig Urquhart says, when will the splinters on Starmer's fence and his arse run out? Well, unfortunately, he's not sitting on the fence. In the China thing, it looks worse than that, Craig. It looks like he's choosing trade and China over and above national security. This is why it's so important, this story, and why he should be in Parliament tomorrow answering the questions. He'll send some undersecretary, some thicko, who'll get destroyed, but everyone will go, oh, well, it's not him, is it? It's not his fault he can't answer the question. Starmer's on the world stage again. He makes me sick. I wonder if he's taken his wife. Huh? And I think it's a little bit too much the way he's holding her hand all the time, don't you? Me think he doth protest too much. Bit of Shakespeare. Did you see Philip? Oh, Jim Garfield. Thank you, Jim. Jim's just donated a tenner. Thank you, Jim, by clicking the little dollar sign. He's our first donator today. Really appreciate it, Jim. Thank you very much. And I know you've done it before. He says, did you see Phillipson on Trevor Phillips this morning? No, I was probably still vomiting after watching her with Laura Kunsberg. Pressed on her claim that Britain played a key role in negotiations, no answer, except saying it's complex. Yeah, I saw it later, actually, on YouTube. They honestly think we're that stupid. You're right, Jim. They're treating us like complete mushrooms, keeping us in the dark and feeding us bullshit, but they're not going to get away with it because the mainstream, Trevor's great, to be fair, excuse me. The lamestream media, even they're waking up to the fact. He's a con artist. He lied to get into power. His manifesto was a tissue of lies. They're now going to raise taxes. But of course, like typical students, they're going to attack the rich. Oh, but don't think, oh, that's right, I'll be all right then. It's going to come down to people who are earning 45, 50 grand a year. It ain't the super rich he's going for. They know how to avoid it anyway. It's ordinary people. That's why he's never said working class. He talks about working people. He's a con man. In fact, in Dad's Army, who was the guy in Dad's Army who's always selling the watches and the rest of it? You know the geezer I'm talking about. He was in St. Trinian's as well. What a brilliant actor he was. That's what he's like. But he's not as sophisticated as him. I can't remember his name. Somebody will tell me in a minute. Thank you, Jim, anyway, and thank you for your donation. Simon Hart, it's anti-Semitic hate, pure and simple. Yes, it is, Simon, because now they haven't got the excuse. So now it's purely about hating Jews. I'll tell you, that Bridget Phillipson, they were talking about Laura Kunzberg said there's universities where there's a list of all the Jewish kids. Listen to this. A list of all the Jewish kids, and they target them to intimidate them and harass them one after another. That's just so utterly wrong. And then we've let a load of people in who don't share our values anyway about democracy. Some of those scenes on that march yesterday, it was like being in downtown shithole Baghdad or somewhere before we bombed it. Literally. Is this what we want? Is this the kind of Britain you want to live in? No. And that's why the flip-flop warriors need to be stopped immediately. But no, let's pick on the Jewish community who, by and large, have settled in, knuckled down, work hard, the kids are doing well, etc., 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 and they've created businesses. Let's have a go at them instead. Disgraceful. How can it be a genocide when the population is increased? Exactly, Simon. Also, as well, like I say, I didn't see many starving children today. Maybe I watched the wrong clip. There's one guy, it's on YouTube, you might have seen it. He's coming in and he's bringing a load of bread in. He goes, at last I've got bread for my family. He's nearly as fat as I am. Ever got the feeling you've been conned? The meant to emphasise my lack of surprise he didn't get it. As the White House said, the MPP is politicians as well. Don't know what that means, mate, but you're right. He didn't get it. But I wasn't having a go at you, by the way, Jake, on YouTube. He didn't get it because they hate him. They've all got Trump derangement syndrome, but none of them could have pulled it off. None of them. There was that Baroness Amos, the black woman. You know the one I'm talking about? She's one of Britain's top diplomats. She's at the UN or somewhere. She's useless. She's useless. She's another one who says, oh, no, you don't understand. It's diplomacy. We've got to this. Trump could only do what he did because of all the work we've been doing. You know what? Yeah, all right, love. Fair enough. And pigs will fly. Jackie Ward, never hear Keir, keeps living up to his name. I can't believe more of his own party aren't calling him out yet. He's ensuring that Labour will never get in again, as particularly in my lifetime. No, they won't. You're right. Paul Rowbottom has put Fabians. You don't have to pretend that you're not saying the word on this show. No one's getting banned for saying that. And more I'm coming around to your way of thinking, Paul. Thank you for it. Annette Locke, I think we should nickname him Mr. Knockers. What a total fool he is. You're talking about the Green Party again. What's his name? Zach. That's it. Zach. And he's an actor. Never trust an actor. Look at Zelensky. He was an actor as well. He never answers a question, and the Speaker is disgraced to not compel ministers to answer. Well, Simon, back off a bit there, because the Speaker of the House of Commons, you're right, during question time, he doesn't press him to answer, and it's become much more of the Starmer show. I agree with you. But Hoyle has said he should come and answer about the spying. He has said that. He's on the record. And, of course, he should. Mark says, if the UK government starts sending out ministers on media rounds to talk about the peace deal, then start saying the wrong things and meddling with Gaza, they will F the peace deal up. Well, that is what's going to happen. That will start happening tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, we're going to get all of this media. Yes, it's Starmer's influence. Starmer knows how to control and pull the right strings on Trump. It's so stupid. They've portrayed this caricature of Trump being an idiot, but that Starmer knows how to play him. It's the oldest trick in the book. Ronald Reagan used to do it. I'll pretend I'm the thick actor, Hollywood star who knows nothing. Then they can do whatever they want, and then I'll just undermine it. That's what Trump's doing. Trump is in control. And what they don't like, and I think this is a particularly British thing. You may disagree with me. See what you think. I just think they don't like the fact that when he's done something brilliant, like bringing world peace, he likes to brag about it. And they think, oh, no, that's not right. That's not right. No. And therefore, then everything he's done is undermined by it. But that's just the way he is. He's a brash New Yorker. Have you never been to New York? Just order your eggs the wrong way in a New York cafe and you'll get your head bitten off. I just don't get it. If he hadn't achieved anything, then fair enough. He's ended a conflict that's been going on for about 100 years. And of course, we're partly responsible for that. But with the force of his personality, he seems, God willing, for it to be over. I was overjoyed to see the people going back to Gaza and the people in Tel Aviv waiting for their relatives to come home. Yes, it was terrible, the destruction of Gaza, but that could have ended earlier. All that had to happen was that the terrorist scum, who most of those people yesterday in London were supporting, had given up the hostages earlier, it would have been over. Don't be a weakling. And likewise, the enemy within that are living in this country, we need to find out where their loyalties really lie. Are you with me or against me? Next time he comes home, put him under house arrest and question him on camera. We have a right to know if he's selling us down the Yellow River, says Paul Rowbottom. It was Walker, John. Had to Google it. In Dad's Army. Yeah, it was. Yeah, Sergeant Walker. What's the actor's name then, Craig? Because he was brilliant. But it was Flash Harry, wasn't it, in St. Trinian's? It was the same character, effectively. I don't know if it was the same actor who played it, but anyway. Starmer did nothing, but he's going to try and claim credit for Trump's peace deal. Yes, he is, Ancient Man, on YouTube, and I think that's disgusting. Andy Borg, James Beck played Private Walker. Thank you for that, Andy. That's sorted out in my head. John, I think it's all for the cameras with him and his wife. Are you talking about Starmer? No. Don't be such a cynic, Crag. Maggie Young, Trump is too clever for Starmer. He certainly is, Maggie. He certainly is. By the way, play up Sky Blues. Anybody else fed up? I've mentioned this on Twitter yesterday or the day before. Anybody else fed up of the internationals? I want to get rid of the international breaks. I don't like international football anymore. It's crap. Mainly because we're not very good at it either. But it's just rubbish, isn't it? Eh? I'm talking about the men's game here. And why should our season be interrupted? We've had, okay, it's good on one level because Coventry are top of the league and we can brag about it for 2 weeks and we're not going to be knocked off the top place. But I'd much rather we just carried on to world domination or certainly to automatic promotion, which is what's going to happen. How brilliant are Coventry City? And I'm the first to admit I got it completely wrong about Doug King and about Frank Lampard. Mark Robbins was brilliant, but this is a different kind of brilliance now. We are brilliant. Like I said the other day, Coventry City are playing like Brazil. And I'm not talking about Alan Brazil. I'm talking about the national side. Mind you, we did a charity football game once, right, when I was at TalkSport. And Alan Brazil was as pissed as... you can imagine what he was like. But they all played. People like, what's his name? Rodney Marsh and the rest of it. But Brazil, what a player. When you're actually standing next to that drunken medicine ball head, he was still a great player. He was. He wasn't very good when he came to Coventry. He was past it. But anyway, I don't know why I said that, but there we are. I've said it. Our government has done nothing to help Trump achieve this peace deal. It's shameful to turn up tomorrow and take any credit. Yes, Simon, that's a good point, actually. It's kind of like demeaning to our whole nation, isn't it? What Starmer's doing. Because we're honourable people, aren't we, the Brits? And we haven't helped. We haven't. In fact, he could have screwed it up completely. Brilliant. 31 likes. Stephen Barrett, it is him. The eminent barrister has a lot to say about the Fabians and their influence. Apparently, they are the reason for Orwell's 1984. I don't know what you mean by the reason. You mean it was part of why he, when he wrote it? Yeah, maybe. A lot of 1984 is coming true, though, isn't it? And George Cole, Arthur Daly played Flash Harry in St. Trinian's. What great films they were, say Ryan H. Thank you very much indeed for your comment. Right. Anybody else want to say anything? Going to pack up in a minute. I've done 39 minutes. Nobody else giving a donation. It's just Jim in the donation corner at the moment. Anybody else want to chuck in a £5 or a couple of quid? Come on, help us out. We need independent broadcasting. You can do it just by clicking the $sign. Lisa's downstairs at the moment. She's got the audit book out. I could be in the shit if I don't set up. How many donations? One. She's not going to be happy. I've got to go and cook in a minute as well. look after me. Come on, sort me out. So that's that. Or go to www.buymeacoffee.com. Another question. Do you like me doing the Sunday shows? Do you want me to carry on doing the Sundays? Because I'm not sure. I mean, today we've got quite a good crowd listening. Last week it was not. Was it last week? It was brilliant. I can't remember. But the week before, one of the weeks just recently, the numbers were outstanding. But if you don't want me to do it on a Sunday, I won't do it. So let me know where you stand on this. Craig says, thought it was funny watching Starmer slammering, trying to speak Indian. Well, at least he tried. But yeah, what is the point of that Indian trip? And I told you that was all political manoeuvring, Craig. He did that to try and mess up the Tory conference. Unfortunately, Kemi gave a great speech. I've had a bit of stick about that. People go, oh, what are you supporting her for? I'm just telling the truth. I thought her speech was excellent. And I thought it was worth listening to. It was. I'm not saying she's going to be the next Prime Minister. But, you know, you don't know what's going to happen in politics, do you? You do not know. So keep a bit of an open mind, is what I would say. Simon G says peace, and then he sent me £2. Thank you, Simon. And he says, keep it up. You're a top man, Simon. Thank you very much indeed. Andy Borg says, I love the Sunday show. Oh, thank you very much indeed, Andy. I'll keep doing it then if you're enjoying it, but we need a few more rather than just me and you. I'm watching on Facebook. It doesn't have a $sign to pay anything. Well, it wouldn't do a net, because that's a YouTube thing only. It's a super sticker thing or whatever it's called. If you're on Facebook, the best way to donate is to go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. It's all one word. Look, I'll put it on the banner here so you can look at it. Wait a minute. Where is it? There it is. That should be there now. Can you see it? On the bottom, on the thing going across the bottom. So you can now donate there. Just open up another window and donate a $5 or something, whatever you fancy. Yeah, I think on Facebook, I have got people donating on Facebook, but I've never got any money out of them. So I think it's a much longer process. But wherever you donate, I just want to say thank you, because literally now 1.6 million views. We'll have 2 million by the end of next week. And it's down to you. It's down to you lot telling people. And don't forget, the best way to help me, and it doesn't even cost you any money, is to go to John Gaunt TV on YouTube and subscribe. That's free to do. Do that. It boosts my numbers. So thank you. The conflict in the Middle East, says Henry Ives, has its roots in the 6th century when Islam burst out of the Arabian Peninsula. As long as there are radicals, it will never end. Well, yeah, I agree with that to a large extent, but I'd like us all to have a bit of optimism today as well, Henry. Wouldn't you? It's amazing what's happening today. And I'm getting up early tomorrow to watch it on the telly. I really am. I'm excited. I think it's great. Lee Goatee is putting £2, $1.99 on a super sticker on YouTube. Lee, I thank you very much indeed. Every penny counts. It all helps to keep these things going. Great show, John, says Craig Urquhart. Thank you, Craig. Only stars on here, and you get nothing for that. That's right, Annette. That's why I'm saying going to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. You can use your credit card or your debit card, and you can donate that way. And the good thing about that is then I've got your a contact point for you, so I can tell you in the future what else I'm doing. I tell you, without Buy Me a Coffee, because I didn't know you could donate on YouTube when I started. I'm learning about this as I go along. And the Buy Me a Coffee has been literally a lifesaver to this. I don't know how the stars work, but thanks, Annette. I know I've got loads, but I don't understand it. I like the Sunday shows if I know what time it's going to be. Yeah, Jackie, I know that. It's just on a Sunday. You know I'm a family man, so I've got other things, and I'm never sure. Well, 2 things. What my hangover will be like. I don't really drink that much, but you know what I mean. 2, other domestic considerations. Like next Sunday, we're having a do for Lisa. It's her birthday. So I don't think I probably won't do one next Sunday. I might have to do it first thing. I don't. Oh, no, because they're going for a spa day. So I can do it when they're out probably. But other things come into play. And then today I did it at 4 because that just fitted in with everything else that's happening. So I don't want to be, it's going to definitely be at this time because I don't want to let you down. but it's usually in the afternoons, and then 6:30 in the evenings, Monday to Thursday. So, Jackie, I'm trying the best I can. And the way you can get, you got banned on YouTube. We don't know why, do we? I'll try and put notices up earlier. That's what I'll try and do. How about that? Craig Urquhart, set up a standing order, folks. What, can you do that? How do you do that then? Is that what you've done, Craig? I don't know what you're on about. Anyway, I've finished. Once I get me 3 red hearts from Jackie and me sky blue hearts from the other big fan, whose name has just gone completely out of my head, to which I've got to apologize. Maggie Young. Then I'll stop the show. So the show's stopping. I'm back tomorrow. Maggie Young. Oh, that's nice. She says, have a lovely birthday, Lisa. Yeah, she will. Like the Queen, it goes on for days and days. The girls are taken to one of these organic spa. Do they call them organic spas? Not so. It's a spa, but not like in a big posh hotel. It's in a barn somewhere in the wilds of Warwickshire or Worcestershire or somewhere, and they have like a steam room, which is another barn, and then you sit in a, like in what's that movie? Raindrops keep falling on my head. That one. Not Bonnie and Clyde, is it? It's the other one. Anyway, where they have a bath outside. It's like that. They sit in a steel bath. So you go in the heat and the sun and you come out. And from what I'm being told, it's like a field with just a bath. And this is the trendy thing. I think it's the best con trick I've ever heard. Don't spend any money. Don't bother having a big flash place. Just tell them it's right on and it's sustainable. But anyway, they're going to go. They'll enjoy it. They'll love it. So that's that. That's where I've gone wrong in life. So that's what they're doing. She'll have a lovely time. Thank you. Craig Urquhart says, yep, that means he has set up a standing order. Thank you, Craig. Thank you for another awesome live stream. Keep up your fantastic work, says Craig Moulton. I shall try. And there she is, Jackie Ward. There's the 3 red hearts. And then Maggie Young says, what's your prediction against Blackburn? Well, depends what team they send. But I think, Sundance Kid. Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid says Lee Goatee. You're right. That is the movie. Shame, wasn't it, today about Annie Hall dying, isn't it? Huh? You know what I mean. Oh, I love her in The Godfather as well. What's her name? Been all over the telly today. Anyway, I'll come back to me in a minute. Where was I? Butch Cassidy, somebody else has said. My prediction against Blackburn, 4-1. 4-1. We're going to win. We're going to hammer them. Of course we are. I'm going, actually. My mate Ian. Diane Keaton. Thank you, Ryan H. My mate Ian said to me in the pub on Friday night, you doing anything next Saturday? I said, no, not really. Why? He said, come to the football with me then. I've got a spare. That's nice of him, isn't it? So I'm really looking forward to it. I've been with him a few times now. And, yeah, it's a nice day out. And then we go to Wetherspoons afterwards, which I love. And why not? But we're going to win again. Yeah. I think Coventry now, it'd be very hard to defeat us. I just hope the break hasn't broken the concentration because, we've got our tail feathers up. And it's always difficult when a team gets mass confidence like that. And we haven't got a bad player, have we? Normally when you've got a team, there's number one that you call a donkey. Yeah. We haven't. They're all brilliant. I mean, it is just, and you know what? That's the thing about football. When it's going well for a city, it makes the whole city, even if you're not a football fan, it makes the whole city more confident, happier. That's the power of sport, isn't it? That's the power of football, I guess. Anyway, that's it. Right, I'm done. Back tomorrow. Get up, watch what happens. It's an amazing part of history that's going on at the moment. Well done to Donald Trump. Shame on Keir Starmer. He's an absolute arsehole, isn't he? Huh? And he just doesn't realise it. Everything he does is wrong. And, of course, lots of people copying my expression now. He's got the Midas touch in reverse. Like this decision to go tomorrow is the same thing. He'd have got more brownie points if he'd said, I'm not going because I've got to get back. There's so much we've got to handle in Britain, like the Jew hate, like these demonstrators, like these people thinking it's okay to chant from the river to the sea, like these people with the Hamas flags. And also, of course, answer questions about China. This thing, the spying thing, is this going to be the thing that brings him down? Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow night, up at 6. Until then, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, hey, hey. Don't forget to tell them you love them. See ya.